Elliot, look, this is really astonishing, this press conference, especially the comments by the Brooklyn Park police chief. He alleges that his officers are being stopped. And I want to play one particular example that he gave. Listen to this.
One particular officer that shared her story with me was stopped as she passed ICE going down the roadway. When they boxed her in, they demanded her paperwork, of which she's a U.S. citizen and clearly would not have any paperwork. When she became concerned about the rhetoric and the way she was being treated, she pulled out her phone. In an attempt to record the incident, the phone was knocked out of her hands, preventing her from recording it.
So a lot described there. What do you hear? Because I have a lot of questions about what DHS says are the supposedly targeted ICE stops that they are doing and how that would drag in a off-duty police officer.
Right, and I come at this not just as a Justice Department person, but also having worked at ICE for 4.5 years as a senior executive there. So let's be clear, this is sloppy law enforcement, regardless of what anybody thinks about how the president is conducting immigration enforcement or what his goals were when he came into office. It's just sloppy. And I think it's a couple things. One, these officers are incentivized to be as aggressive as they possibly can. I mean, both in terms of salary and bonus and so on. They have an incentive to behave in this manner, number one. And number two, the standards have been lowered for who can get hired. And when, number one, standards are lowered, two, they're given a task that they are simply not equipped to handle. If they're being told to arrest thousands of people a day and the government simply is not equipped to do so, you're going to start to see abuses like this. And so I am not shocked that this is happening. If the president and administration truly wanted to move 1 million people a year, then they ought to fund the government to do that, or provide the personnel or resources or whatever else, and find the political will to do it. But you can't will that into existence without people's rights being violated.
You know, and President Trump seems to have woken up to the political challenges that he's facing around ICE, because starting with this Truth Social post, he says DHS needs to talk more about the murderers and the criminals, and then people will start supporting the patriots of ICE. And then at a press conference today, he also seems to suggest that the real problem that they face is not promoting enough what ICE is doing. Listen.
Are average Americans wrong to still feel high prices, and how much longer does the White House hope that they?
So I think a lot of people are listening to the fake news a little bit, and I'm not blaming anybody. I think I blame ourselves. I think we've done a much better job than we're able to promote. We're not promoting. We're doing a great job, and we're sort of letting the promotion take care of itself.
At what point will there be an acknowledgement that Americans are seeing what's happening and they're not liking it?
Well, the president, I think, also said that, I think it was the New York Times today, that in some instances, things we handled better and they need to look at it. I think while the public has a perception and some of the approval might be down there, they still trust Republicans and the president by a 28-point margin on the issue of immigration and the border of handling this. And the reason why is because we saw the press conference, and let's table for a second whether we agree with tactics or how they're doing it. We saw a press conference today hitting ICE and the law enforcement officials who are keeping these communities safe. I don't recall seeing any of those individuals do a press conference when innocent American citizens were killed by dangerous, illegal cartel members, gang members, things like that. And so there's a reason here, and the Democrat Party can cry all they want about how things, there are situations that can be better, 100%, and the president acknowledged that. What can't be denied is that we are in this situation because Democrats under the Biden administration sat back and let this happen for 4 years. We've had 8 months where not one illegal immigrant has crossed over the border, and that's because of the Trump administration.
I hear what you're saying, but the problem is, you see, it's not a question of Democrats versus Republicans. It's a question of the truth. The question of the truth. Neither one of the parties want to tell the truth. So if you two just want to continually be preoccupied with being parasitic on the Democrats, we can talk about the Democrats till the cows come home. It might have little to do with truth, little to do with justice. When you're terrorizing and
ask you this.
traumatizing a people
Hold on, let me ask
who are
you.
disproportionately chocolate, of course it's racist.
True,
Of course it is.
True or false?
What's that, bro?
Did we allow millions of people unvetted into this country, many of them who are criminals, rapists, child molesters, child rapists, murderers, gangbangers, people killing people with fentanyl, bringing in a
How
little
long
drugs?
is your question gonna go, bro?
Well, it's a long list.
I think
It's a
you got
long
enough.
list.
I think you got enough. I think you got
Okay,
enough.
well, when you let 10
Let me tell you what my
million,
answer
15
is.
million
Let me
into
tell you
this
what my
country.
answer is. Let me tell you
You
what my
got a
answer
problem,
is.
and you
Let me
guys
tell you
did
what my
that.
answer is, though, Ben.
Abby,
What is it?
That there's no doubt that the Democrats did in fact were a colossal failure when
Thank
it came to
you.
immigration.
I-
That's a
thank
fact.
you.
But the
So,
other truth
to
is
clear
this.
it up,
The other
it's
truth
gonna
is
be
this,
hard.
though. Let me finish now, brother. Don't
All
just
right,
keep your
okay.
flow coming out of
Guys,
University
all
of
right,
Mississippi
all right,
now.
all right, Dr. West. Everybody keep their hands to themselves at the table, please.
I love this man.
No,
It's okay. It's okay. I love this
Continue.
man.
No,
Continue,
you know I
continue.
wasn't going to start
You're
swinging
okay.
on you, man. You know that. But I mean, but it is a rhetorical swing because the fact is this: if every immigrant disappeared in America tomorrow, which makes it a distraction now to talk about immigrants, we still have poverty, we still have deep conflict, class, racial conflict.
You'd have
we
a lot
still
less
have-
crime.
Well.
You'd have a lot less crime.
A lot of Native Americans, a lot of Americans involved.
You'd have a lot less
You
crime.
know, it's all a distraction. It's all a distraction.
I don't think there's
Can I
really
say
much
there's
evidence
really
at
no
all
evidence
for
for
that,
that at all.
including
Tell
that.
that to the families
Hold on,
who've
hold on
had
a second.
criminals for
Actually,
No, brother.
There is
No,
crime
no.
that happens. There's
Abby,
crime that is
there
committed
are
by immigrants, and there's crime that's
Don't
committed
give
by
up
people
What's
who
the
are
number of
Americans.
murders that then would
And
you go
immigrants-
to say that's a bad issue?
Immigrants can commit crimes at a lower rate than native-born Americans. That's a fact.
Tell that to any
Go
family
ahead.
members had
Here's
someone
the
killed
thing.
by an illegal
I
immigrant.
think that what I'm hearing a lot is the Democrats, Biden. Dr. West explained that. And I think the thing is, it's not political to say that we don't want murderers in our country. We don't want pedophiles in our country. We want those people identified and we want those people
Then
punished.
why are you
That
not
is
working with ICE to
do
get
not
rid of them?
interrupt
Hold on
me.
a second.
Just
No,
give
but
me-
it's a
I
fair
said
question.
Hold on a
nothing.
second. Just let her.
And you
No,
keep
but you just
talking.
said you want to get rid of them, but you don't work
Ben,
with ICE.
let's let her make her
Okay.
point so we can understand what she's trying to say. Go ahead.
That'd be great. Thanks.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Lee.
We all want that, okay? And if Donald Trump wants to get on TV and say, our problem is we haven't highlighted our accomplishments enough, I would say, great, highlight your accomplishments. Prove it. Prove you are getting the worst of the worst. Show us the murderers and the rapists and the killers that you are arresting. Stop yourself. Then tell us
They
you're
have
not
a
rounding
podium
up.
with a
You
picture.
can't stop
Hang on a
yourself,
second.
man.
Hang on a second,
Zip it.
please.
No, I'm sorry,
Well,
you're not my
Ben,
mom.
Ben,
And second of all, you don't get to
hold-
make it
hold
up.
on,
We've
hold on,
had the
hold on.
posters at the White House,
Ben,
the people that have
just
you said
one-
show them to me. We have
Ben,
showed them to
Ben,
you.
just a second.
You don't like it.
Ben, just a second. I'll say one thing and then I'm going to let her finish. They have released a short list of names, but they've also claimed that they've arrested thousands of murderers and rapists and criminals. They have not released the full list of thousands of alleged murderers, rapists, and criminals. So that's also true. Now continue.
Prove you're not rounding up line cooks and roofers and abuelas and healthcare workers, and you're giving them actual due process and cause. Prove you are saving innocent lives and not just taking them on the street. Prove you have any sort of system, that you aren't just arbitrarily setting up checkpoints and pulling people out that are brown or Asian or black. Prove that you have citizenship, that you're checking, that you're making sure you're not taking citizens. Prove that you're not jumping people at work and setting up checkpoints as people just try to drive home to their neighborhoods. Because this is the same administration that said, here's our health plan, don't look at it, empty binders. Here's the thing where I'm gonna get away from all of my businesses, empty binders. This is the same man that said, here's the Epstein files, so I'm gonna give them all to you. Now I can't.
I'm gonna go back to answer your question.
I'm gonna answer the question. Innocent people, civilians,
hold on.
and you're not beating them on the street.
Hold on.
Prove it to
Ben,
me,
we're
because you
going to
cannot.
stop here for just a moment because we have to continue. We have to take a break and then we're going to continue. There's more to talk about on this issue of ICE. And now the question the Democrats are grappling is what do they do about ICE? The answer has been complicated for them and it's dividing the party. That's next.